How's it going, guys? Boom from Appalachian and Tactical, and today I'm going to bring you a quick video on my kind of, well, I don't know what you'd call it. I guess you'd call it a go bag slash whatever you want to call it. I haven't really come up with a name for it. Any term you could use applies for this. So, yeah, just figured I'd make a quick video on it and give y'all a closer look. So, stay tuned. Alright guys, so welcome to the video. Today, well, I should say this morning, it's 3 a.m. A couple days after the intro segment. So, yeah, I've been kind of wanting to get around to this for the longest time. I just kind of experimented with different setups in terms of rifles, chest rigs, and of course, the bag itself that would contain all this gear I would typically have. Now, I will start off by saying this isn't a, get everything together like chest, or of course, chest rig obviously is in here. Like plate carrier, I don't know if you can see my hands, sorry about that. Plate carrier, bump helmet, anything like that, upwards of $1,000 plus, probably per item. Just hypothetically speaking, there. This is just a bare bones SHTF go bag or Minuteman, type response bag. I'm sorry, I'm kind of nasally. Just had a sneezing fit here just a minute ago. But yeah, this is kind of my my interpretation of what that would be. The reason I'm making this video just as of recently is because of what we've been having happen in the week of a la Super Bowl Sunday of 2024. Sunday wasn't bad. The rest of the week kind of just snowballed. And it sounds like the snowball's wanting to head towards hell right now. Anyways, sorry about that. I had to get some water. No, the reason why something just told me, I was like, man, I need to make a video about this. So, between everything going on, like the supposed national security threat that the United States Congress has, I say announced, or they had a meeting with the clown in chief, if he can even interpret what the hell they're saying, or just the Gang of Eight, whoever that is. I try and keep up with politics. I don't know the whole spiel about it. I just know that China's trying to do some stupid stuff. Russia's doing some stuff. And yeah, we got a bunch of people coming across the Mexican border from way beyond Latin America, Middle East, China. I've actually seen a picture of one. Well, obviously, yeah, Asia, of you could call it mid Asia, East Asia, whatever the hell you want to call it. Bangladesh. That's one that popped up. I had seen even Ukrainian, and I want to say some Eastern European passports had popped up. According to a post by Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida, just a few weeks back, he had posted that, and there were, piles on tops of piles of these passports. I guess they had just found at the border. I don't know, there was not much context of it, but there seemed to be a growing kind of, I wouldn't say response, but more of a growing sensation amongst the media outlets of, more than just the typical, Mexican immigrants, anybody from a Latin American country or, Hispanic, of Hispanic origin coming to the U.S. It's more than that. So, we know what happened, or what has happened in the past. Certain countries that are our adversaries, particularly the ones from the Middle East, I know it sounds like I'm rambling, but I'm getting to the point, and I do apologize if I sound muffled or anything. Yeah. Anyways, anybody from the Middle East, say like Iranians, any Iraqi individuals. I'm not trying to pinpoint and draw hate towards a certain demographic of an individual or people, or anybody that's coming here that just happens to be from one of those countries, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, any country that we've had a quarrel with or have quarrels with today. There's so many different things going on. Mike Glover from Fieldcraft Survival, and of course his own channel, Mike Glover Actual. Well, obviously they're both his own channels. He had mentioned there was a possibility of a black swan incident being a imminent threat. I would definitely say, personally, I would see it as a threat. Like he had mentioned with the whole COVID ordeal breaking out back in 2020, late 2019, early 2020, that it kind of seemed a little off kilter, I guess you could say. So that has just, over the past 4 years kind of made me really put a lot of thought into this and just kind of become of that mindset of, having that preparedness and trying to, have a contingency plan layered with this, not just being armed, but, being well supplied, having a mutual assistance group, having contact with individuals and trust in situations of saying, hey, if this situation happens, we'll meet at, say, Rally Point Charlie, which could be, somebody else's house, or halfway point between, your current location and whoever else is in your MAG's, current location. At the same time, rendezvous at that point, along that way. And I will say, as other YouTubers have used this terminology, in Minecraft, gather intel on what the situation is, sit rep, and just create a brief, just a solid brief of any intel of eyewitness accounts and first-hand accounts of making sure you have everything you need to handle a certain situation. Now, with that being said, if you are of the Minuteman archetype, I guess you could say, or just of that mindset, which I think a lot of people need to get into that mindset of, law enforcement's not going to be there, and I wouldn't say they're not going to be there, but they're not going to be a rapid response. They're not going to be right then and there in case of a, say a possible terrorist attack, home invasion, anything from the smaller end of the spectrum to a large scale, possible mass casualty incident. Now in a large city, there's going to be law enforcement, and they should have a fairly quick response. But the time between communications, getting the information and relaying that to officers on the ground, time is money. I say time is money, but time is, lives at stake. Like take Israel, for example. When Hamas had attacked Israel that first day, there's a group of, people in their 20s and 30s at a rave festival in Israel, and they did not suspect the slightest, thing of happening at this festival. Then all of a sudden, this quasi Red Dawn attack, played out by Hamas, occurred, and I was watching the press conference of the sheriff from Butler County, Ohio, mentioning that it was not the IDF that responded to that situation. It was the local police forces that had been trained and armed and prepared for situations like that. To hold their ground and keep as many civilians safe in a situation like that as they physically can, until, reinforcements came and, helped them, I say, neutralize the threat. Now, with that in mind, here in the U.S., we have, of course, National Guard, and then we have, the 5 main branches of the armed forces. Army, Navy, 4, 5, counting Coast Guard, obviously. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Pentagon. They're not going to be right then and there in case of, oh my God, terrorist attack in, let's say, just some random, I say random city, but whatever large U.S. city comes to mind. And, they're not going to be immediate. The first line of defense is either going to be armed civilians that are trained and prepared for this situation, and or law enforcement. Now, I live in a more rural community that is on the outskirts of I would say, small to medium-sized city in, southern Appalachia. So, if something is going on, if something is occurring in the city, word seems to travel pretty damn fast here in the South, as I like to joke. But in all seriousness, if there's an incident, more than likely, from a main thoroughfare where I work in the city, that I've seen, for example, I want to say a couple weeks back, we had a incident out where I live where there was a shooting. It was like a home invasion, but it was, a shooting was involved, shots fired. And there were multiple, and I mean multiple, law enforcement officers just screaming by where I work at, and I was like, man, what's going on? And then, found out later in the day that there had been a shooting. I was like, well, that explains a lot. And, the best way to help streamline the process, I wouldn't call it a process, I would call it a unfortunate chain of events in that term, or in that case. And I just see it as, if somebody has the skill set, the mindset, and the proper equipment I say proper equipment, but, rifle or, whatever firearm, anything to neutralize a malicious threat. That is crucial to survival in terms of, whatever SHTF situation you have, natural disaster, like look back at Katrina with people looting. The possibilities are endless in that case. I'm just going to leave that, to whoever's watching this video. Kind of leave it to your imagination and your thoughts to kind of come up with the, whatever scenario you can come up with, and, a plan accordingly to it. Like I said, have a contingency plan. I'm actually looking at, there's a program called AMCON, which is short for the American Contingency Plan. And Josh from Modern Frontiersman had made a video on it, talking a little bit about it. I think also Mike Glover, he's either a big proponent of it or it's his program. And it just helps people, common everyday people like me and you, have the skill set and, kind of get into the mentality of, if it happens, this is what to do, go from there. And I think I think more people should get into it than you realize, because there are a lot of people out there that kind of throw caution to the wind and are happy-go-lucky about so many things in life. That I try and keep a realistic mindset, while trying to stay somewhat optimistic about, situations. instead of, having the kind of ignorance is bliss kind of state of mind where, you're like, oh, nothing's going to happen. Well, about 4 years ago, we had a thing called 2020. And if you had been living under a rock or were in a coma for the entirety of that situation, just ask anybody that was, in these big cities where there were riots, protests, shootings, Kenosha, Minneapolis. Need I say more? And after that had happened, I was still kind of in that kind of prepper mindset in the back of my mind before that. But once it really kicked off, I kind of went full speed into it while not going off the deep end, or at least trying not to. So from there to now, I've kind of looked back and said, hey, I've changed this, and this, stocking up more on food, supplies, more things that are relevant than just now this is going to sound like a very condescending statement, but prepping is not just loading up on a shitload of ammo and firearms. That is a major component of that, or proponent of it, but the rest of it is also going to be preparing your house or your home, your family. You need to have something to, you need to be self-sustaining in a situation where, if, say, businesses are shut down, the roadways, like the roads into a town are blocked off, you can't get into town, there's martial law curfew. This sounds like a complete tinfoil hat rant. I know, I do apologize. But just hang with me, folks. Just hang with me. It's just a mindset I think a lot of people need to have. I cannot stress that enough. A lot of people need to think, and think hard, long and hard about it. That's what she said. About what they're going to do and how they're going to respond to it. So, in this bag right here, my military surplus USGI duffel, I've got a fighting rifle, my chest rig, and some other provisions for, protection and, in some ways, concealment. So, let's get into it. Okay, so, starting off, you need to have a good, solid fighting rifle, or a arm of some sort, be it either your EDC, if you conceal carry, that's going to be one. If you're in town, that's going to be your first line of defense. The main one, I would say, is going to be a good, solid rifle. If you've watched my last video, you'll recognize this rifle. I have changed one thing on it, but that's just for comfort and, I think, personal ease of use. It is I call this my Minuteman carbine. It's a Anderson lower, good old, everybody calls it Poverty Pony build. Anderson lower, PSA upper, with some Magpul hardware. And this is, not that it matters, but I'll probably make a review on this. It's the new Magpul PR stock, the MOE PR stock, and it's good, solid, lightweight setup. It's super comfortable. That's another thing with a rifle. Get familiar with it, be able to shoot it accurately and proficiently. You need to be proficient with what you have. That I cannot stress that enough. Now, this one I had actually kind of started out, I was like, I'll just have this as a truck gun, kind of throw around. But I kind of realized, my other rifle, I'm like, there's a lot more junk on it than I need. So I just went back to the basics, bare basics. Carry handle, iron sights, and a light. I mean, anybody will tell you that simple rifle like this will get the job done no matter what. So, got that bad boy, of course, painted up for, you know, out in the woods. You know, you don't want this to pop out. Spray painting your rifle is a big thing I would recommend doing. Just like I said, it kind of lowers your profile, you know, because anybody's going to be looking for, if somebody is looking to see if someone is armed, they're going to be looking for a black outline of a firearm. They're going, oh my God, that guy's got a gun, you know, 100 yards out, 200 yards out, whatever. A black stick of a thing from a distance, you know, anybody's going to see something this long and very dark, they're going to go, oh, he's armed from a distance. You want to lower your profile if you're in a situation like that. I know this sounds like a ramble, but if you know, you know. Okay. So from there, I'll do a more in-depth video on this sometime down the road, more than likely. So just be on the lookout for that. Moving over, set this guy out of the way. Better not slide. Moving on down into the bag itself, I've got my Pattern 83 chest rig. It's actually a reproduction by a commando store. A lot of companies had the, where's my can at? Sorry about looking for my Zen can. Not a lot of companies, oh God, I'm drawing a blank here, sorry y'all. A lot of these original Pattern 83s have been on the surplus market as just a good, useful piece of kit. And the one, I guess, aspect of it is not a lot of people think of is something like this particular situation. It's small, it's fairly light, and you can carry a good fighting load with it, combat load. Holds 6 mags, very, very universal in terms of magazine compatibility. I mean, everything from AR mags, AK mags, AR-10, anything, you know, 5.56, 308. Hell, if you had a whole bunch of like Glock, you know, for example, 33 round sticks, you could probably do 2 per cell, and there's 6 cells. So you could shove 12 33 round Glock mags into this. Yeah, it's a solid rig. And let me adjust the camera real quick, and I'll show y'all more in depth as to what I have in it. Alright, so in this chest rig here, I've got 6 PMags loaded up with M855 ball. Just, you know, good, solid ammo. You know, you want something that's going to hit and hit hard. That's probably the best bang for the buck. I've got medical over here, cat tourniquet, hyphen chest seal, Israeli bandage, and shears. I might be leaving something out. Then on this side, I've got my Baofeng UV5R. Good piece of kit for comms. It's cheap, affordable. You can, you know, equip a bunch of people with these guys. Cannot recommend it enough. Then up here in this pouch, it's a little compass pouch. I've actually got a compass, funny enough, and a Bic lighter and water purification tablets. I'll get to that in a sec. You know, it just depends on how you're operating. I've kind of got this stage for my area. I say area, but just what I would expect to do, or hopefully expect to do. Back here I've got a map of my AO and a Right in the Rain notepad, or notebook. So, just run-of-the-mill, nothing fancy about it. Just good, solid piece of kit. And the new Commando store reproductions are made in the US of A. Cannot recommend these enough. And moving on from that, I had mentioned provisions for protecting yourself from like the elements and a form of concealment. So getting into this, like I said, it's going to be kind of a scattered all over type of deal. Protection primarily from the elements. you want like a base layer. I say a base layer, something, any layer to, you know, keep you warm in the wintertime, or I say wintertime, colder weather. Got a Zero Foxtrot Whoopee hoodie in good old Desert Night camo, because why not? That it's stupidly light, just like the Whoopies, and I don't know if you know what the Whoopies are, but they're a military poncho liner. And if you've ever been in the military, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, look them up. Tons, and I mean tons of ex-military guys will tell you you'd be stupid not to get one, because they are some of the greatest pieces of the sleep system that the military has used. At least from what I've been told. I am not ex-military, nor am I current military. Just an average, ordinary, everyday dude that works a 40-hour-a-week job. But, you know, you do your research, you talk to people, and you make an educated decision. So, moving over from that, also, you know, in terms of protecting crucial parts of your body, you know, you need to keep heat. If you need to stay warm in, like, you know, say colder climates. The most crucial thing, obviously, that's happens to be on camera right now are my hands. Without proper protection, you know, to your hands, as you can see, mine are kind of dry and cracked. It's a little, you know, dry and cold where I'm at, and I've been outside working, inside and out. You got to protect your digits. You know, you can't operate a firearm without this digit right here or this right here. Oh, hell, any of them for that matter. So, with that, I've got a good pair, if I can dig them out of the bag here, a good pair of Aramid. I want to say these are U.S., I think, Marine Corps. I think these are Marine Corps surplus. Aramid gloves, which I want to say it's either a mix of Aramid and Nomex. Hell, I'll tell you here in just a second by looking at the tag. There is the tag right there, so y'all can read that. Combat GEC. Yeah. And it is Aramid, so fire resistant. I say fire resistant. Very much a competitor. I say competition Nomex. Hell, Aramid could be the generic name for Nomex. I really couldn't tell you. These are just some of the best gloves, especially if you're running a weapon, you're running quite a few rounds through it, you know, and you don't want to burn the piss out of your hands. These guys right here, of course, you got the leather, palm, and the fingers that, you know, offer protection, but you also get the good dexterity of, you know, running a thinner glove, so you don't have as much bulk on your hands. Pick these up for like $15 on, I want to say, Americana Pipe Dream. You can get them elsewhere, but this is where I just happened to find these. So there's that. Like I said, I love these guys. Cannot recommend them enough. So, like I said, good set of gloves. Moving on to the last part. Okay, so sorry, I had to adjust my camera, and honestly, I had to clear up some space on my camera here because I was about to be running out of space there. That's what you get for running on tangents that are, 10-minute long tangents. Anyways, another piece of gear I would recommend have is a good field shirt or, field jacket, and a good camo pattern that blends well with your area. I found this online at Victory Arms, if I can say that correctly. They are a surplus store out of Mocksville, North Carolina. I want to say they're fairly close to Fort Bragg, so that might explain a lot. But picked this up, it's OCP, and I figured, M81, if it's kind of an arid time of year, and M81 just doesn't really blend, this is a good option. So you know, like I said, whatever climate and whatever, you know, kind of terrain you live in, your camo is going to vary in pattern. So with that, just do your research and make, like I've said before, I'll say it again, make an educated decision. Don't be stupid about it. Don't be, you know, like, oh, I want to be like, you know, so and so. You know, if you live in the, you know, a more arid part of the country, like Arizona, New Mexico, M81 is gonna kind of stick out. You know, if you live more towards a desert climate, dry desert climate, it's just gonna be, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. You know, just plan accordingly, and you should be all right. So from here, moving back into the bag, throw that bad boy back in here. Protecting your face, also in cold climates. You know, either a beanie or a balaclava. I've got a balaclava just because, you know, sometimes when it gets cold, you need your face to be warm, you know, but you also need to be able to see. And sometimes you need to hide your face because you don't want to get identified in Minecraft. And I will give a quick disclaimer. I know it's towards the tail end of the video. I should have said this already. Disclaimer, I do not recommend going after any, you know, local sources, law enforcement, military, anybody like that, federal government. Don't go after them with malicious intent. I'm telling you, don't do that. You know, do with this information as you will. Just remember, for legal purposes, I do not recommend you to do anything that would put your life or others in jeopardy. So, unless you absolutely have to defend yourself. You know, there's a difference between being malicious and being defensive. That's for a later date. Anyways, this is a gear video and an overview, and not a review, but an overview, and giving y'all some ideas. Anyways, got this, you know, cold weather, works great, or just want to be anonymous, pop this bad boy on. Then, another source of, I say source of face covering, but just another multi-purpose piece of kit is a good shemagh. Dust, sun, hell, even the cold, you know, use it as a scarf, or also to, you know, cover yourself, conceal yourself, hide your face. This isn't one of the better colors. I'll probably have to re-dye this. I'd hit this with, I think, some dark green. I'll probably just go, say, full send and either bleach it or, you know, remove the color and put it in like in a dark brown, kind of more of an earthen brown, just to kind of help it blend with my my AO and my environment and the terrain and everything, just to make my situation a little easier. And excuse me, if anything needed to be, you know, in a pinch, filtered, you can, you know, like, let's say gas, you know, gasoline, whatever had dirt in it, you can filter whatever particulates out and make this a makeshift strainer. So, very versatile, and if you don't have one, go grab one if you can. Amazon, you can just find these about everywhere online that sells military surplus. If you look up Middle Eastern scarf or whatever, shemagh, you know, something will pop up. So keep that in mind. This is just me. I have it. You don't have to have it. This, like I said, this is just me throwing stuff out. Last piece. Doesn't seem like this is, you know, the most fitting for a piece of gear like this or a situation like this, but hydration. You need a form of hydration, obviously. Water is hydration, and you need a way to carry that hydration around. Now, you can either get you a Camelback, real high dollar Camelback, or you can go old school, get you a Canteen. They're cheap, they're plentiful. Some of these are beat all to shit. This is actually basically a brand new Canteen. It didn't come with a cup or the little stove that goes with the cup for like soup or anything. I literally just found this in a, God, I can't remember where I was now. It's like gun shop. Guys just had some military surplus laying around. They're like, find what you can. And I said, okay. So found this bad boy. I was like, I think I might have paid like $5 for it. Everybody's gonna have different prices. Just depends on the condition. But get one that's in good condition and does not smell weird. If it smells weird, rinse the hell out of it. Get some good Dawn soap or even bleach. That's just my recommendation, because God only knows what has been in a raggedy Canteen. Somebody could have spit in it. Somebody could have, relieved themselves into the Canteen. It's just a possibility, or the uses these things have probably seen are infinite. So, one overlooked piece of gear that I highly recommend getting a hold of. So, also, I don't have it in here currently, but out in my vehicle I have a 30 cal ammo can strapped in back of my car, and in that 30 cal ammo can is another six 30 rounds plus a single 20 round AR mag. They're loaded up. I want to say they're varying between standard ball and green tip. I keep those at the ready just as a, if I need to resupply on a run in a vehicle, or if I just need extra mags for whatever reason, I've got them. So all that's a good idea for you. Like I said, I'm just throwing these ideas out there. These are just suggestions. I'm not telling you what to do. Do with this information as you will. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do apologize for kind of going all over the place, but I just try and make these videos in one go, and I think my ADD kicks in, and I just kind of pinball from there. But I hope this is one of my more thorough videos. I hope. If you've got any constructive criticisms, don't be an asshole in the comments. Just tell me, hey, it would be cool if you kind of change this up on the video, or change this up doing this and that. Just anything you guys think I could have done differently on a video like this, please let me know down in the comments, and share this video, whatever. Tag me if you repost it somewhere, however you want to do it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I want to make this just to kind of show as a an awareness to prepping and a imminent situation going on. And yeah, like I've said, hope you guys enjoyed, and stay frosty.